Okay, gang, what's up? We're just gonna do a quick little video here, kind of going over all of BT17, a little card by card action, kind of going over what my thoughts are of this set. I didn't do this for EX6, even though I had the idea to do it, just because I didn't think EX6 was going to be impactful enough. Whereas I think this set changes a lot of actually what's going to happen, as well as I have the feeling that we're getting closer to a ban list than we have been in the last couple sets. And with the cards that are likely to get hit, I think these cards are going to be extremely impactful. So we'll just go ahead and start off with red. Starting off with the red egg available in the set. Digimon, when attacking by paying 1 cost, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3k or less DP. This egg actually has some utility, even outside of Guilmon. I know that certain blue hybrid decks with running the red bottom end and stuff end up running this card as a way to out really problematic floodgates like Akuomon or like Jakuri. It's just a really good cheap answer to those floodgates, especially for decks that don't need their egg to be like some either combo engine piece or like a draw engine, which some decks are able to kind of slot that in really nicely. Moving on, we've got the Agumon here. This it's going to be a little hard talking about this specific engine outside of talking about the whole engine together, but we'll do our best. We'll go ahead and talk about the Omnimon stuff right now, actually. So the first new red rookie digivolves from a 0 for red or blue egg. Can digivolve on top of any Coromon for a cost of 0 as well. And then start of your main phase, you have a tamer with Tai Kamiya in its name. You can return one Garurumon, Greymon, or Omnimon card with that in its name from your trash to your hand. And then end of your turn, you may Digivolve, DNA Digivolve this Digimon and one of your other Digimon into a card in your hand, into one of your cards in your hand. It's just like, okay. From my understanding, it's like a totally fine card in the deck that would be running it. Other than that, though, it doesn't have actually much utility beyond that, unfortunately. The Inheritable is nice, and the Recursion is also nice, but from everything I've seen, it seems like this is just the worst of the two rookies. I think you still play it, especially if you're going for the pure engine, but it seems like the Gabumon line is a little bit better. Speaking of the Gabumon line, it's the same evolution requirements, except for it can digivolve on top of a Sunamon for 0 instead of the Coromon, and then start your main phase if you have a tamer with Matt in its name, you draw 1, which is like consistency. It has the same Inheritable though as the other one. These cards are completely fine. I think the Gabumon engine lends a little bit more to drawing and memory shenanigans, and so people will tend, I think, to lean towards that for the Omnimon side of things. But going into the level 6s, we've got the Ward Greymon. When this card will be played, you have a tamer with Tai Kamiya in its name, reduce the play cost by 3. You can also digivolve on top of level 5 with Greymon in its name for a cost of 3, and you can digivolve on top of any red for 3. It's an 11 play cost, so using the effect, you can reduce it down to an 8 play cost, which is not bad. It's definitely, I think, one of the more manageable rookies as someone who plays the Dark Masters deck. I mean, it's just 2 more memory to get out level 6 compared to the level 5. And then on play, when digivolving, you can activate one of these effects below, similar to the, I think it's EX4, Blitz Greymon and Crest Garurumon. They do something very similar. This one deletes a Digimon with 8k or less, and then one of your Digimon, or specifically one of your Gabumon may digivolve into a Metal Garurumon from your hand, ignoring the requirements and without paying the cost. That's a super good on-play effect. I don't think this card will see any play outside of the Omnimon Turbo list, but nonetheless, I think it fits really nicely into the deck. 11k DP, it's on the smaller side, but I think that's also fine. Inheritable, when attacking, this card has Omnimon in its name, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. Again, very, very similar to the Blitz Greymon that we've seen in prior sets. This one is just, I think, a little bit more utility-wise because it's able to do it on play. And then we will go ahead and scroll to the new Metal Garurumon. Everything is the exact same, except for replace the Garurumon instead of Greymon and make it blue. Then going down to the on-play with Digivolving, you can activate one of the effects below. One of your Digimon, your opponent's Digimon or Tamers can't suspend, and then one of your Agumon may digivolve into War Greymon in the hand, ignoring the Digivolve requirement and without paying the cost. And then Inheritable, when attacking once per turn, you can unsuspend this Digimon. And these two combined make your Omnimon a triple checker, because it'll trash top card, swing, unsuspend, swing again, which is not bad. Getting a triple checker on field for I think just really consistent game plan is not bad. I'm not sure how good it will be. I think it'll be like probably like a solid like tier 2, maybe tier 3 deck. But I think you guys will make the decision for yourself once we find the payoff for the deck, which is the Omnimon Ace. Hand counter Blast DNA Digivolution, which means that your opponent will never really be able to swing into you unless they are able to out your Mega before doing so. It has Raid and Blocker, very similar to the Ragnarlord that we just got in EX6. And then on play when Digivolving, if DNA Digivolving, choose one of your opponent's Digimon, return that Digimon and all of their Digimon with the same level to the bottom of the deck, then delete one of their Digimon. So even if you don't DNA Digivolve, you can still at least get the pop. It's a ace card, so you will overflow for 5 because it is a level 7 once it is outed. But even if you don't have the cards to DNA into, you can at least still play it for 9 and just pop something, giving you a 15k body, which isn't horrible. It has the when Digivolving effect that will bottom deck all of your opponent's Digimon with the same level, which feels really good. You just need to choose a level of their available Digimon, and then you bottom deck them all. It's really good for dealing with wider boards, similar like Numemon has like flood the board with rookies and whatnot. And it gets around certain deletion protection, which is also good. I think this card is completely okay. It's good, in fact. I would give it a good category. The on-archetype tamer is the Taikami and Matt Ashita. When one of your Digimon is played or digivolves by spending this tamer, if you have a Digimon with Greymon in its name, gain a memory, and then if you have one with Garurumon in its name, gain a memory. And then if you return one of your Digimon with Omnimon in its name, may attack a player. So this Digimon, this tamer essentially gives your Omnimon Blitz, which is also really nice, and helps, I think, shore up some of the weaknesses in the strategy, as well as it is insanely good for getting memory down. Unfortunately, I think this deck suffers a little bit from the fact that you have to find this tamer in order for it to be good, but there are other ways in this set to do that, and we'll also kind of go over why it's important to find it. So we'll do the easier ways to find the tamer. The new Taikami and Karikami tamer is a 3-cost white tamer. When you hatch in the breeding area by suspending this tamer, gain 1, which is nice. It's not like the most impactful thing in the world, but the end of your turn, by returning this tamer to the bottom of the deck, you can draw 1, then you can play 1 tamer with Tai Kamiya or Kari Kamiya in its name without paying the cost. And this is just a way to cheat out the Tai Kamiya and Matt Ashita, because it is super, super important for the deck. And this tamer has also seen utility in other decks that also run Tais or Karis. I think it's just a nice potential slot in that doesn't really take anything from the deck, and so that's really nice. And then finally moving on to, I think, the last in-archetype card for the deck, being the new option. 2 costs, you can play 1 Agumon or Gabumon from hand or trash without paying the cost. Then you can place this card in the battle area, which is good. You know, cheating out a level 3 for 2 memory instead of the 3 that they normally cost feels fantastic. But the main reason you'd actually play this is because of the alternate effect, which is when one of your level 6 Digimon with Greymon or Garurumon in its name would leave the battle area, other than battle, delay, that Digimon and Digimon card in your hand may digivolve into a card with Omnimon in its hand. So this actually allows you to force your opponent to either swing into you, proccing your ace effect, or you deny the deletion by immediately going into the Omnimon as a reaction to what they're going to be doing, which feels fantastic. I think this is a wonderful, like, very telegraphed trap card that's kind of hard to get around for some decks. Do I think this deck is going to be, again, insanely strong? No, but I think it's going to be a super fun deck that a lot of people are going to be wanting to try out, especially because it plays very uniquely in the way that I think a lot of other decks in the format will be playing. I think this deck, this card right here definitely does make the deck, I think, insanely strong, though. Okay, scrolling back up to the reds, we got a new Guilmon. When one of your Kalumon or Tamers with the Takato and its name is played, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3 careless DP. If this effect didn't delete, gain a memory, which is fine. I think that you can definitely slot this in. I don't think Kalumon is played as much as it used to be, and I don't think it will be seeing a lot of play going forward. But I mean, potentially I could be wrong. The 1 memory gain is kind of nice. Especially if you can't like cheat out Takato, or even if you can cheat out Takato, just getting a free memory off of the effect is really good. The problem is it's not an inheritable effect, it's just a your turn effect, so it has to be done during while this Digimon is kind of just like on field already, which can be a bit harder to get going, I think. The inheritable is all turns while you have 0 or less memory. Add 2k maximum to this Digimon's DP-based deletion effects that it can't delete, basically. So your cards that delete 3k will not delete 5, 5k can now delete 7, etc., etc. You get the gist of it, basic math. I think this card is fine. I don't think it adds anything to the deck that was like insane, and I doubt we'll see much, if more than one copy of this card finding its way into the Gallantmon list that we've seen so far. I think it requires a very different kind of deck. Moving on to the next card, the Flamemon. New hybrid support. On play, reveal top 3, add a hybrid or 10 warrior and 1 tamer card with an inherited effect among them to your hand, turn the rest to the bottom of the deck. This card is really good for red hybrid. It's super, super nice, and then has an on deletion. You may play 1 tamer card with an inherited effect from your hand without paying the cost. I think this deck slots very, very nicely into the current red hybrid. It digivolves on top of a purple or red egg. I don't think that matters as of current. Maybe in the future sets we'll start seeing that actually start coming up, but until then I think this card is just a really good searcher for red hybrid, and potentially a good searcher for blue hybrid. It just depends on what kind of bottom end you're going to be running there. Moving on to the level 4s in the red category, we've got Growlmon. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 or less DP. If this effect didn't delete, this Digimon gets plus 3k DP for the turn. Again, an okay effect. I just don't think it fits really well into the Gallantmon archetype. Like, it just doesn't add anything the deck already can't do, as well as it doesn't really make it super, I think, good at getting into the top end, which I think is what's most important in the game these days. Looking at its inheritable though, while you have 0 or less memory, add 2,000 DP to the maximum DP to deletion effects you can delete, which is just, I mean, it's the exact same inheritable as the Guilmon, so you can add 4k if you have both in the stack, but again, it really just doesn't matter. I don't think that these cards add a lot to the deck and change the math in any way of what it's actually trying to do. But I'm willing to be proven wrong. Unlike that though, cards that can change the math in your deck a lot, the new Agunimon. You may digivolve this card from your hand onto one of your red tamers as if that card is level 3 Digimon, so you can digivolve on top of your red tamer for 3. You can also digivolve on top of purple or red level 3 for 3. 6 cost play, 5k DP. You can also digivolve on top of the Takuya for 2 or a Burning Greymon for 1. When digivolving, if you have a Burning Greymon, this one's Digivolution sources, or if you have a blue or green Digimon or Tamer, this Digimon may digivolve into Ancient Greymon in hand for the cost of 3, ignoring its requirements, and if you do digivolve this effect, delete it at the end of turn. This card is exceptionally strong for a red hybrid that focuses more on Ancient Greymon. I know that if you have the right cards in hand, you can do 5 checks by like turn 2, turn 3, which is really good. Whether or not I think it's consistent or going to be what the deck actually wants to do, I'm not sure. I know that these cards, while seeing some success, aren't exactly the best ones that you're going to be able to be playing in the next set. But we'll go over the, I think, better hybrids when we get there. Continuing on the same line though, this one is the exact same in every way, except instead of the Burning Greymon for 1, it can digivolve on top of a Goonie for 1, and then has the Raid effect, as well as when attacking, you may digivolve this Digimon card with hybrid in straight, into a card with hybrid in straight with the digivolution cost reduced by 1. So if you do swing in with the Burning Grey, you can digivolve straight into this Agunimon for 0, and then going straight into a Ancient Greymon for 3, while still getting the Raid trigger going, which is super nice. Moving on to level 5s, we've got a War Growlmon. When digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon 6k DP or less. If it didn't delete, this Digimon gets security attack +1 for the turn, which can change some math. I'm not exactly sure, as I'm not a big Gallantmon deck enjoyer. I'm a big Gallantmon Digimon enjoyer, don't get me wrong, but I haven't seen this card. I'm not sure exactly how this will change the math for the deck as a whole. It has the inherited though, when in effect deletes an opponent's Digimon, you may unsuspend this Digimon with Gallantmon in its name. So it can be up to a quad check Digimon, which is super good actually. Whether or not this finds a slot in the deck, I don't know enough about the deck to say whether or not they want to do that. I know the level 5 slot is really, really tight at the moment because a lot of their War Growls are super integral for a lot of their game plan, being milling, putting cards in both players' trash, as well as playing out Takados and Guilmons for free. both of which are really, really good. But I'm sure that you could probably slot in 1 or 2 copies of this and feel pretty happy about it. And then onto the last red level 5, we've got Hand Main. By placing a Goonie and Burning Gray from your trash underneath one of your Takuyas, digivolve it into this card as if that card was a red level 4 for the Digivolution cost of 3. And then with digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6 carry DP or less. As the inheritable, your turn, when this Digimon has the Hybrid or 10 Warriors trait, it doesn't activate security effects on option cards it checks. It's okay. I think it can definitely slot into the deck of the current red hybrid deck. I think this more so fits. I'm not exactly sure where this fits, if I'm honest with you. I think the old Alda is just a little bit better, getting the 1 cost evolution if you have the Takuya in its traits or in your sources, and then being able to digivolve for that for 0 on top of the Burning Gray. Feels really good. So I'm not sure. This seems more like a you've fallen behind a little bit and you need to catch up. So for a cost of 3, you go straight into a level 5 from a Tamer. I just don't know how good that is in the deck. I think there are a lot of decks in the format that would love a card like this. I'm just not sure if red hybrid or hybrids in general currently are a deck that would really appreciate a card like this. Well, I think we'll have to see as more cards come out whether or not this is actually a good card for some kind of hybrid list or not. Moving on to the Gallantmon level 6, we've got delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 8k or less DP on digivolving and when attacking. If this effect didn't delete, this Digimon gains 3k DP and gains blocker until the end of your turn. Finally, using that shield for something, getting blocker I think is really impactful for the deck, especially because you have so many when your opponent's Digimon gets deleted effects, like gaining memory and drawing cards. Your turn will give 0 less memory. This Digimon isn't affected by your opponent's effects. That's another really good card. It lets you check into security without ever having to worry about getting hit by a nasty option or even getting getting aced by your opponent. However, I would like to say that I'm not sure how easy it is for the deck to kind of just sit on 0 memory getting into a Gallantmon. It seems like it requires a little bit more finessing when it comes to memory management. But I think overall this is a really good card. It's not a once per turn when attacking, so you can trigger it twice with the new Warbrow, plus the when digivolving effect, so you can get upwards of three times per turn, giving you a total of plus 9k DP and blocker, or just deleting 3 8k or less Digimon, not including if you have any inheritables that increase your deletion effects. I think this is a good card. I think you'll definitely see some play in the new in the current Gallantmon lists that we've seen up to now. Moving on to the Ancient Greymon. Security attack +1 on play when digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with as much or less DP than the Digimon. So a pretty good on play and digivolving effect. It allows you to pop something. It has a Sec +1, digivolves on top of level 5, purple or red for 4. But typically I'm assuming you'll be using it with the main combo Burning Gray into a Goonie into the Ancient Gray. And then on deletion, return 1 Tamer card and 1 Digimon card with a hybrid trait from your trash to your hand. Then you may play 1 Tamer card from your hand without paying the cost. And you can digicross for 3, down to a cost of 6 with the Aguni and the Burning Gray. I think this card is okay. I give it a solid thumbs up. I don't think it'll see too much play in the current Ancient Greymon decks that we've been seeing. I think it's a very different kind of card compared to those lists. And I think they're going to be fighting a little bit for space over what you're going to be kind of want to be doing. But I think overall, it's a really nice card that gives you a little bit more options when building a red hybrid list. Also, the on deletion is really good, and there's another card with the exact same on deletion that I think is better and does more and is insane. Moving on to the only red level 7, as well as the first red level 7 ace that we've been given, that like isn't like a DNA. So sorry, Ragnar Lord. Hand counter blast digivolve, level 6 with Gallantmon for a cost of 4. Otherwise, a red level 6. For a cost of 5, play cost of 8, 15k DP on play when digivolving. Choose any number of your opponent's Digimon whose total adds up to 15k DP or less. Delete them, which is good for clearing out just a big stack or for clearing out multiple smaller bodies. Then when attacking, for every 10 cards in both players, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack, which is really good because I think you're pretty consistently able to get like 20 cards in both players' trash throughout a game. So being able to trash about 4 cards is pretty disgusting. Unfortunately, it's a one attacking effect, so you're gonna have to find a way to keep turn, because even at the cheapest cost, it'll still be a 4 cost evo. But that's it for red. Moving on to blue. Strabemon, which is the exact same as the above mentioned Flame one, except I think it's a slightly worse inheritable. I think it's still a good inheritable. I'm just not sure. With some testing I've been doing, it feels a little bit clunky sometimes. When attacking once per turn, you may play one tamer card with an inherited effect from your hand with the play cost reduced by 2. So the new Koji for 2 or the old Koji for 1 is typically what you're going to be doing. But even then, that'll sometimes cause you to pass turn, which is really unfortunate. I still think it's a good card, exceptionally good. If you're trying to use the blue bottom end, I think it's pretty much mandatory as a 4-of. We'll go ahead and do the hybrid stuff right now, actually. So the Lobomon is the exact same as the Agunimon we mentioned, except the inheritable is if you have 7 or fewer cards when attacking, draw 1, which doesn't actually proc that much, because typically you're swinging at the Kendo and then digivolving into the Lobo and then digivolving into the new Ancient Garurumon. So that's unfortunate, but it can be used outside of like the Ancient Garurumon spam lists that you're able to use. As well as the individualing effect needs a black or purple tamer, as well as or a Kendo instead of a blue or green tamer or Digimon. And then the Kendo is the same as its counterparts. Again, these need Koji instead of the Takuya, and these ones need Lobo or Kendo instead of the Burning Gray or Gumi. When attacking, draw 1, which is good for cycling anyways, and it also procs your Kojis with it, letting you get the inherited memory and then jamming, or inherited memory and not being able to be redirected, which is super good. And then when attacking, you may digivolve into a hybrid trait for the cost reduced by 1, and then the same inheritable as the prior hybrid. These cards are very, very strong, and they're part of a current top deck in the OCG that I think you should definitely be keeping an eye out for. Moving on to the Beowulfmon, same as the Aldomon, except it replaced the Aguni and Burning Gray with the Lobo, Kendo, and replaced the Tamer with Koji. For a cost of 3, and then when digivolving, by returning 1 hybrid card from the Digimon's devolution cards to hand, when your opponent's Digimon or Tamers can't suspend till the end of the turn, which is a really good when digivolving effect. I think it definitely saves you a little bit. I think it's a little bit better than the Aldomon, which I think you'll find is true for most of the hybrids in this set, are just slight. Blue-yellow is just slightly better than red-purple across the board. And then has the inherited when attacking. Once per turn, the Digimon has the hybrid or 10 warriors trait. Return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon cards to hand, which can come up. I think this card is maybe like a 2-of in the Ancient Garurumon lists, if you're really pushing it. Otherwise, I think it is just fine. I think you can see some play in current blue hybrids. Otherwise, I wouldn't expect too much out of it. Cards that I would expect a lot out of, though, is the new Ancient Garurumon, which is a house. And definitely something you want to pick up copies of if you want to play some kind of hybrid deck going forward. It is so very strong. Has the play cost 12, but it can cross it down to 6 using the Lobo and the Kendo Garuru. And then has the on play when digivolving, return one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level to hand, which is super good for just pure removal. Either a 6 cost removal or even just digivolving for 3 as a way to remove something. And then your turn, when in effect adds a card to your opponent's hand or your hand, your opponent adds the top card of their security to their hand. So it's a check already just by itself by removing a Digimon. Then you do a check to your opponent, and then on deletion you can play out add a Tamer and Digimon card with hybrid from its traits from your trash to your hand, then play 1 Tamer card from your hand without paying the cost. Both the Ancient Guru and Ancient Gray don't have to play out hybrid Tamers, so they can play out things like Emperor or Cool Boy or whatever Tamer you really want, which is super cool. And they can also add back Tamers from trash, doesn't matter what Tamer it is, which comes up a good amount. This card is very strong. It is wonderful removal. If you're able to keep turn, you can digivolve on top of it with a Ruin mode, which will then pop itself for minus 10k to your opponent's field. It's just really good as a utility card, and primary use being a aggro card. It definitely sees play. Something to note, however, is that it's an ancient animal and 10 warriors, not a hybrid, so its on deletion can't add itself back to hand. You have to find other ways to add it back, which we will go ahead and get into right now. Actually, we'll just scroll down real quick and finish off the hybrid stuff while we're at it. We'll go ahead and do the Takuya. Takuya is a 3-cost security plays card, obviously security main start of your main phase. If your opponent has a Digimon, gain a memory, which is like completely fine effect, and then has the inherited your turn. This Digimon gains plus 2 KDP, and while this Digimon has 10,000 or more, it gains piercing. It's fine. I think that it definitely is a different kind of Takuya from the ones that we've seen so far, and I'm not sure if the old Red Hybrid lists will really want to be playing this, aside from it just being a name, obviously. And then we've got the new Koji Tamer. It's a 4-cost, it's a memory setter, and then your turn, when an effect adds a card to your hand, gain 1 memory, then the Digimon gains jamming for the turn, which is a super good inheritable, as well as having a memory setter in the deck. Feels fantastic. You finally have 8 Kojis to play with, which makes the deck a lot more consistent compared to where it used to be. And then moving on to the final hybrid card that you will have in the deck, the Ancient Protectors is a 2-cost option. While you have a Tamer or Digimon with the hybrid trait, you may ignore the card's color requirements. So any hybrid will meet the color requirements for this guy. Doesn't matter if it is a Tamer or Digimon or what colors they are. You may return 1 Digimon card with hybrid or 10 Warriors trait from your trash to your hand. Then you can play 1 Digimon card with 10 Warriors trait or 1 Tamer card with the inherited effect from your hand with the play cost reduced by 4. Security effect, you may play 1 Tamer from your hand with inherited effect from your hand or trash without paying the cost, and then add this card to your hand. It's a super strong card. Lets you get back your ancient Garurumons, which is super important, as well as it lets you play out something for a cost reduced by 4. Be a Tamer, so you can play out any of the hybrid Tamers for free. It doesn't have to be a hybrid Tamer though, it just specifies a Tamer, so it can be any of the Tamers you have in hand. Be them utility Tamers or otherwise, as well as something that is really impactful and a good ruling to know is that your cross Ancient Greymon and cross Ancient Garurumon can cross for the reduced cost of 6 and then also gain the reduced cost of 4, allowing you to play them out for a cost of 2 on top of the 2 for the Ancient Protectors for a cost of 4 total, which is really good and strong. But yeah, great. Going back to the blues, we'll just kind of continue out the lines here. We've got the Labramon. On play, by placing 1 Caesarmon or blue level 3 Digimon card from your hand, as a Digimon's bottom Digivolution card, draw 1. 1 KDP, level 2, 0 blue Evo. Inheritable when attacking. Once returned, this Digimon has jamming, gain a memory. I think it's a fine card. I don't think it's going to be seeing a lot of play outside of its specific lists, probably, just because it requires specific named cards like Caesarmon. But maybe you can play in like the Bluefish deck or something along those lines. Moving on to the level 4 of the archetype, we've got Caesarmon, though I don't know if I'll call this deck an archetype. For those of you who don't know, this is from the, I believe, the Tamers movie, where they end up fighting... Ooh, is it Golfmon? I'm not sure, I can't remember. But this one was created by the new character in the movie's father to, I think, protect her, which is kind of cute. On play when Digivolving, placing 1 blue level 3 Digimon card from your hand as Digimon's bottom Digivolution card, 1 of your Digimon gains jamming for the turn. So it's a 6-cost, give something jamming, or 2-cost Evo, give something jamming, and then give this card another source. So it doesn't have to give itself jamming, which is nice considering that it has the inheritable jamming. So if you Digivolve on top of it again, you can have 2 different bodies with jamming, which feels good. Jamming is really strong. But also being able to get an extra source underneath feels fantastic, like putting a Gomamon underneath, so that way the stack also floats into something else. Feels pretty good. Into the new level 5 here, it's a new Cerberus one Werewolf mode. I don't know if this one floats into the Lilith Werewolf loop or not, but we'll see. 7-cost play, 4-cost Evo from blue or purple. 7 KTP, Digivolve for 1 from Cerberusmon. When Digivolving, you may play 1 purple or 1 blue or purple level 3 Digimon card from your trash, or one from your Digimon's Digivolution cards without paying the cost. Let me read that. Play 1 blue or purple level 3 Digimon card from your trash, or from one of your Digimon's Digivolution cards. So it has to play level 3 from your sources as well. At the end of your opponent's turn, return this Digimon to hand. Return that Digimon to hand. Okay. That's fine. I'm not sure if there's a really good Cerberusmon that you want to be running in this kind of deck. But but has the inheritable all turns, once per turn. When an effect plays one of your Digimon, return one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to hand. I think this card is garbage. Alright, over just like a simple once over. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing about it, but it feels pretty mediocre. It doesn't seem to fit into anything that this current Cerberismon decks want to be doing, or any decks that are currently using Cerberismon will want to be doing. But maybe I'm wrong. We'll go ahead and scroll back down, come to the Tamer that matches these dogs a little bit. We've got Minami Uhara. On play, you may play one Labramon or Caesarmon from your hand or one of your Digimon's evolution sources without paying the cost. So a 3-cost Caesar or a Labra, which feels good. And then your turn, one of your Digimon is played from the evolution sources. By suspending this Tamer, one of your blue Digimon gains Rush for the turn. This seems really good for the fish deck. I'm not going to lie to you. Being able to give a brand new card Rush, get a check in, and then put it back underneath after getting some value from it feels fantastic, as well as getting Caesarmon out for 3 allows you to cheat a lot of the stuff. Cheat a whole like cycle of evolution, which feels fantastic. I think this is a pretty good card, and I think the moment a deck appears that can effectively use the Caesarmon, Labramon, and Minami, it'll be very, very good. But scrolling back up, we've got a new line for Shine Greymon. I know everyone was very excited for the Shine Greymon stuff. I'm a personal big fan of Shine Greymon. I think the deck is fun to play. I think a little unfun to play against, however. So let's see if some of that is answered in the new set. When attacking, by suspending one of your yellow Tamers, draw 1. I think this is bad. Your turn inheritable, all your opponent's security Digimon get minus 3k. I think this is also bad. So, not off to a great start, honestly. 0-cost Evo from a level 2, which is like fine, I think. 1k DP. Realistically, when you're swinging this guy, he's dead. And you can use the Koromon to at least get some value out of him, the red Koromon specifically. So I don't think there'll ever be a specific deck that really wants to run this card, unless you're very hard up for yellow Agumon in like the mono yellow, or the yellow bottom end of Shine Gray. Even though I think a majority of them end up running the red bottom end anyways. But looking at the new Geo Gray, when attacking by spending one of your yellow Tamers, Digimon gets plus 3k DP for the turn. Okay. And then same inheritable as the prior one, 5k DP, 2 cost from level 3, 5 cost play. Also really bad, unfortunately. So far, really unimpressed with the line. Maybe level 5 will save it. Your turn, while you have a suspended Tamer, this Digimon gets plus 3k DP and piercing. And then when Digivolving, when attacking by spending one of your yellow Tamers, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3k DP for the turn. With the inheritable, all turns, when one of your yellow or red Tamers is deleted, place 1 Marcus from trash on the top of the security stack. I think the inheritable's pretty nice. Most of the time your Marcuses won't end up in trash because you have similar inheritables on your other Rises anyways. But, I mean, it's definitely possible. Also kind of mid. Typically, you're not really swinging over something with your Rises, and even if you wanted to, I mean, why not just swing for game? You're a very OTK-centric deck, so, I mean, forcing a more board control strategy besides just using your minus DP, I think feels like a mistake. We have a new Shine Greymon. When Digivolving, you have 1 Marcus Demon from your hand without paying the cost. I think it's unfortunate that it specifies Marcus Demon, but it makes sense that it does. And then all turns, when this Digimon would leave the battle area by an opponent's effect by returning one of your yellow demons to hand, prevent it from leaving. This is actually a really nice defensive card. I think it leads very nicely into the new level 7 Ace. 3 cost Evo, 11 cost play, 11k DP. You have to watch out for like raids and whatnot, but I mean, being able to keep your Shine on field, I think this plays very nicely actually into the Ruin Mode Turbo deck as a way to get the body out and then Digivolve for cheap on the crackback, which is good. Getting out a free Tamer is always nice. Getting it out on a level 6 feels kind of slow, but I mean, I'm assuming by this point it's just like a luxury, so it's not too important. I think the main reason you'd be playing this card is to keep a Shine Greymon on field without having finding like an OTK piece, and then on the crackback going into like a Ruin mode for cheap or into a burst mode for cheap, etc., etc. Speaking of a new level 7 ace, hand counter, digivolve for 4 on top of a Shine Greymon, or 5 for my regular level 6 yellow. 8 cost to play, 15k DP. On play, when digivolving, you may play 1 tamer card from your hand without paying the cost. Then for the turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 5k DP for each of your tamers. And it has a when attacking effect by suspending up to 2 of your yellow tamers. For every tamer this effect suspends, this Digimon gets plus 1 security attack for the turn. I think this card is really good. I think it fits very nicely into a lot of decks, even decks that don't necessarily play yellow, like the Ancient Garurumon list, still having a yellow top end. I think it feels very, very good. I think this is a very well-made card. It's not oppressive, but it is definitely a wonderful defensive utility option for any deck that plays a level 6 a yellow Digimon, as well as does care about tamers, which I think there are a lot of, surprisingly, in yellow. And then we'll go ahead and scroll down to the new tamers for the set, being the new Marcus. On play, one of your Marcus Daemon is also traded as a 3k DP Digimon, can't digivolve, and gains blocker until the end of your turn for a 4 cost, which feels kind of bad. I think this would be better on a 3 cost tamer, but it's fine. And then all turns when this tamer becomes suspended, one of your Digimon gets 3k DP for the turn, and that Digimon has Agumon or Greymon in its name, gain 1 memory. I think this is a totally okay Marcus. It's definitely the worst of the 2 Marcuses that we have prior to it, but I think you're still playing in the deck just because you need the name for Marcus pretty consistently to kind of get things going. And then up next in the thing, we've got Rhythm for 4 cost. We'll actually come back to Rhythm in a second. Just know that she's part of the archetype. Technically, she also fits into another archetype, which we'll get back to in a little bit. But the new option card is a 3 cost. You may play 1 Marcus or Rhythm from your hand or trash without paying the cost. Then place this card in the battle area, which I think is already a really good effect. Being able to cheat out a Marcus for 3 memory instead of the 5 or 4s that they typically are is already really good. But also, all turns when one of your tamers is deleted or returned to hand, delay one of your Digimon may digivolve into a Digimon card with Shine Greymon in its name in the hand without paying the cost. I think that second effect is a bit more, I think, niche and a lot harder to actually get off. And so when we look at this card, we kind of look at it for just the main effect, whereas the alternate effect is a lot more niche. But we'll kind of cover that in a second. I'll do the security effect first. You may play 1 tamer card with Marcus Daemon or Rhythm in its name from your hand or trash without paying the cost, and place this card in the battle area. So it just essentially activates it from security, which is fine. I think the typical combo you'd want to do with this is promoting a Greymon, specifically the one that gains you a memory, and then you have this already in play after cheating out the 4-cost Marcus Daemon that when attacking digivolves for free. Swing in with the Daemon, digivolve into a Rise, play out another Marcus. Marcus dies in security, Awakening activates, you digivolve for free into Shine effect, play out a new Marcus, I think is the idea, which is fine. I think it's okay. I think it's a fine card. It's definitely weaker than the other 2 options that we looked at so far, but it's definitely not, I think, the worst of the new options given to us. Whew. Okay. Onto the Pulsemon stuff. The new Pulsemon BT17. Start your main phase by placing 1 Leon Alexander from your hand as Digimon's Digivolution source. By placing 1 Leon Alexander from your hand as Digimon's Digivolution card. If you have 3 or more security cards, gain a memory, and if you have 2 or fewer cards, recover 1. So you don't get the 3 or more and 3 or less, unfortunately, which I think is really strange that they stayed away from that theme for this Pulsemon here specifically, considering I think every other card in the archetype says 3 or more and 3 or less. But you have to choose either gain a memory or recover 1, as well as it only adds from hand compared to the Wolf Boy in the art here, which also does from trash. But it's okay. I think it's a good card for the archetype. I think Pulsemon decks will definitely be playing it nonetheless. Into the new Bulkmon. When digivolving with 3 or more security cards, add one of your opponent's Digimon. Opponent's Digimon gets minus 3k DP for the turn, and you have 3 or fewer security cards. Suspend one of your opponent's Digimon And all turns when a card is trashed from your security stack, if Leon Alexander is in this Digimon's evolution sources, gain 1. I forgot the inheritable for this guy. My apologies. Well, this Digimon has +1 and its text, gain 1 KDP. Totally normal, totally fine. Digital Evolves for 3 from a green or yellow. Digital from +1 for 2. Play cost of 5. I think this card is good. It has the same inheritable as the +1 from before it. I think it's a good card for the deck, absolutely. I think that a lot of the time you will be trashing, getting that free recovery, keeping you at 3, keeping a lot of your effects at their like prime activation point. The new Boutmon is all turns, once per turn, when this Digimon would leave the battle area by an opponent's effect by trashing the top card of your security stack, prevented from leaving, which is exceptionally strong. It lets you go into your level 5, like turn 2, without having to worry about any form of defense. You can go into it for a 3 cost or for a 4 cost, one yellow or green. And then all turns, once per turn, when an effect trashes cards from your security stack, this Digimon with Leon Alexander's evolution cards may digivolve into a Digimon card with +1 and its text in the hand without paying the cost, which is a super powerful effect again. It lets you, in some ways, act like an ace that triggers whenever your opponent tries to remove this guy by effect. And there's a couple of really good options. The Boltmon from BT16, and a lot of the other Pulsemons that we've had available to us, I think really do shine, as well as the like Achillesmon as well is super good. And being able to keep your security at 3 will proc a lot of super good effects. So thumbs up there. It has the inheritable end of attack. Once per turn, the Digimon has +1 in its text by trashing the top card of your security stack. Unspin this Digimon, and it also adds aggression. I think this card is definitely like a 5 stars out of 5 out of 5 for what the deck wants to do, and for like I think adding a really powerful legacy support for a deck that I think a lot of people really do enjoy. Then moving on to the new level 6 of the deck, the Kazuchimon. When digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if Leon Alexander is his sources, all of your opponent's Digimon gain sec -1 until the end of the turn, which is fine. I think it's pretty good. It's similar to the cards in EX6, the Wukong cards. I can't remember their names right now. That give sec a lot, sec minus a lot. And then during your end of your turn, if you have 3 or more security cards, one of your opponent's Digimon with 6 gets -6k DP for the turn, and you have 3 or fewer security cards, recover 1. Then one of your Digimon may attack an opponent's Digimon, essentially giving you Blitz as well, which is super good. And this card is obviously made for the new DNA deck with the Kazuchi and the Fenrir. So we'll go over the Fenrir stuff right after this. But because of that, it has the inheritable. All turns, when a card is removed from your security stack, if this Digimon has Fenrir Lugamon in its name, one of your opponents gets -8k DP for the turn, which I think is a completely fine inheritable. I think this card is mandatory if you want to play the Fenrir Kazuchi deck, obviously, considering it's the Kazuchi part of that deck. But the rest of the Pulse 1 stuff doesn't really see a spot in that list, as well as I'm not sure how good the Kazuchi is with the Pulsemon specific side of stuff. It feels like this is more so tailored to be a Fenrir specific card, which we will go ahead and get into right after we go into the Tamer and the new option, which is Leon Alexander. Security, play this card, obviously 3 cost play. Start your main phase with Digimon with Pulsemon and its text, gain a memory, and then Mind Link a Digimon with Pulsemon and its text. All turns block your barrier. Barrier is super good. And then end of all turns, you may play 1 Leon Alexander from your sources without paying the cost. A super good card for the Pulsemon deck. I think it's very good. The new option, Hacker's Pride, reveal the top 3 for 3. Add 1 card with Pulsemon and its text among them to your hand, return the rest to the bottom of the deck, then place this card in the battle area, then placing 1 card of your level 4 or higher Digimon with Pulsemon and its text on top of your security stack. Placing the top card of one of your level 4 or higher Digimon with Pulsemon and its text on top of your security stack, gain 2 memory, which helps you fix your stack problems of like being needing to be at 3, while also still allowing you to get new powerful level 4, 5, and 6 Digivolutions effects and keeping some memory. And then the security is the main effect as well, just again. So now we're going to go ahead and go look at the Fenrir stuff, since it is kind of important to look at it, considering it's just a single card in the set, which is the new Fenrir Lugamon. Has a Digivolution from 3 from the level 5 purple or red, or from 3 from any SOC trait that's level 5. And then when Digivolving, if AG's in its sources, you may play one Fenrir or one Kazuchi from your trash without paying the cost. And at the next end of your opponent's turn, return that Digimon to hand. So during your opponent's end step, return that card to hand. All turns when one of your Digimon or your Tamers with the SOC trait or Pulsemon and its text is played, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 10k or less DP. So the combo is Digivolve into this Fenrir, play out the Kazuchi typically. Kazuchi has no on play, but you still pop a 10k or less with the Fenrir, which is nice. It has the inheritable your turn when this Digimon has Fenrir Lugamon in its name. The turn end condition is the opponent having 3 or more memory, which is similar to the old Fenrir Lugamon's just all turns effect, or I guess your turn effect specifically. And that lets you segue nicely into the level 7 Fenrir Takamikazuchi. Takamikazuchi. There we go. Takamikazuchi. So this is the new deck that you can be playing with Fenrir. From my understanding, it doesn't fit very nicely into the old Fenrir list. So there's going to be 2 different kinds of Fenrir decks running around. The first one is like the OTK SOC version that focuses on playing the old Fenrir and then swinging with a bunch of alliance checks using the AG to win. Actually, we'll go over the AG first, the new AG. My apologies. Quote unquote new AG. It's a 4-cost Cracker Fang, but it's also treated as AG Nakasumi. It's just a memory setter, and it has all the same effects as the old AG. So there you go. Very simple before we go back into the new Fenrir Lugamon Takamikazuchi. There we go. Jeez. So it has a trash effect. We'll start from the top actually. Play cost of 16, 16k DP, Digivolves for 6 from a purple or yellow level 6, and then can DNA Digivolve from a Fenrir and Kazuchimon for a cost of 0. It's a trash effect. Your turn when one of your level 6 Digimon with Pulsemon and its text is played, 2 of your Digimon may DNA Digivolve into this card in your trash. So you trigger the Fenrir effect, pop a 10k or less, and then you immediately DNA Digivolve into this guy. Whilst it's still being your turn, the inherited of the Fenrir will trigger, letting you keep turn as long as you're at less than 3 memory on your opponent's side. Then you proc the effects of the Fenrir Takamikazuchi, which is when Digivolving, when your opponent's Digimon get minus 16k DP for the turn. So again, you pop something else basically. And then if DNA Digivolving, you may set your opponent's memory to 3. Then if a Tamer card is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, gain 1 memory and recover 1. So even if your opponent is at, say, 9, let's say, for example, you get a hard play the Takamikazuchi, the Kazuchi, after getting into your Fenrir line, you just say it wasn't in trash, you couldn't play it out, so you just hard play it for 12, you put your opponent to like 9 or 10, you can then DNA into the Takamikazuchi from trash, putting him immediately to 3, and then gaining a memory and recovering 1. Then when attacking by trashing the top card of your security stack, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack, which will synergize well just because you're trying to kill your opponent. You'll unsuspend typically. It's not once per turn when attacking effect. So by itself, it's a 4-checker already. With the new, or I guess slightly old BT17 level 5, what's it called? Gosh. Are they red purple or purple red? Wait, is this the wrong set? Fuck me. Okay, hold on, give me a second, guys. I'm trolling right now. I clicked on the wrong one. We're gonna want this one, Beginning Observer. There we go. I think it's purple red. Yes. The new Sologramon. If your opponent has 1 or more memory, which it will, because your opponent will be at 2 memory, it'll be set to 3, and then you'll gain 1 immediately if you have the AG in sources, or any Tamer in sources specifically. Your opponent has 1 memory, unsuspend this one, so you will do 4 checks total. If your opponent has 3 security, they will die, because what will happen is you'll swing into security, you'll trash top card of your security, they'll trash 1, you'll do a check with the 16k DP. Kazuchi, you'll unsuspend using the Soul Luger, you'll swing again, you'll trash top card, they'll trash top card, and then you'll swing in for game using that. And typically their board will have been cleared by that point, because you do pop a 10k and minus 16k DP something. But I mean, not necessarily every time. There's a very different kind of playstyle though from the current playstyle that we have available, as mentioned before. So keep that in mind when trying to go for this kind of deck. I think it's super cool though. So please keep that in mind, is that I think it's sick. Whew, okay. We're still in the yellows, but we've kind of bounced around a little bit. We're almost done. We've just got a couple more cards to kind of go through. Moving on to the new yellow tamer support, we've got Renamon stuff. 3 cost, 0 cost Evo from level 2, 1k DP. On play, reveal top 3 cards of your deck. Add a Digimon card with Kyuubi, Talamon, or Sakuyamon in its name, and 1 Rika, or 1 option card with the play cost of 2 or less among them to hand. Then return the rest to the bottom of the deck. And then inheritable, your turn. Once per turn, when you use an option card with the cost of 2 or more, one Digimon, opponent's Digimon gets minus sec until the end of their turn. Well, sorry, taking a sip of water because I've been yapping for a minute now. The Renamon is really good. I think it's a super good searcher for the deck. I think it's really unfortunate that it isn't a bit more powerful. I'm not sure if this is going to be enough by itself to push deck forward, so we'll have to see if the rest of the support kind of bears fruit. 5 play cost, 5k DP, 2 cost Evo from my yellow level 3. When Digivolving, if you don't have a Rika, you may play with Rika from your hand while paying the cost. A bit of a boring effect, but I mean, nonetheless nice for the deck as a whole. A bit unfortunate though, you really don't want to have to Digivolve at level 4 in the front unless you're doing something kind of crazy with it. Inheritable, your turn when one of your option cards, and they give sec -1. Again, a pretty middling inheritable. I think that it being in yellow is nice, because at least then you can get the Venusmon as like a body, and then kind of just continuously give sec -1 to Digimon that are currently on the field. But nonetheless, I'm not sure that's exactly what the deck wants to be doing. A new Talamon, 7 cost play, 7k DP, and 3 cost Evo from a level 4 yellow barrier, which is good. When Digivolving, you may use 1 option card with plugin in its name or the yellow, or that's yellow from hand with the cost reduced by 2. Can be any option. It doesn't have to be a 2 cost or less as well, which is super good. And then it has the inheritable when attacking once per turn. Digimon has Sakuyamon in its name. You may use 1 option card with the plugin in its name, or that's yellow from the hand, or with the cost reduced by 2, which is again really good. I think this is a really good card for the deck. I think this will definitely be seeing play for sure. And then going on to the new Sakuyamon, we've got 11 play cost, 11k DP. Digivolves for 3 from level 5 yellow. Sakuyamon made mode for a cost of 1. Barrier just on it already, which is good. When Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6k DP for the turn, then you may use 1 option card with a plugin in its name, or 1 yellow option card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand without paying the cost. There's a couple really strong yellow options that can really fit into this category, which is good. And then your turn, when an option card with a cost of 2 or more, when you use an option card with a cost of 2 or more, this Digimon can't be returned to the hand or deck by your opponent's effects until the end of their turn, which makes your barrier even stronger, because now it's even more difficult to remove your Sakuyamon. Whether or not this is what you want in the deck, I'm not sure. But I mean, being able to keep a Sakuyamon out on field and then going straight into a made mode afterwards feels kind of good, and then being able to kind of cycle between the two. This one, the defensive one's the made mode, a bit more offensive in the way that it uses the options. And then finally, we have the new Rika Tamer, Rika Nonoka. Start your main phase. If your opponent has a Digimon, gain a memory, 3 cost. Main by placing this Tamer and Kyuubimon and 1 Talmon from your trash to the bottom Digivolution sources of one of your Renamon. That Digimon may Digivolve into Sakuyamon in your hand for a cost of 4, ignoring the Digivolution requirements. If Digivolved by this effect, you may return 1 option card from your trash to your hand, which is again pretty good. I think this is a really good Rika. I'm not sure if this catapults the deck from Rogue, but I think it definitely cements it pretty firmly into a Rogue deck. I'll kind of go over my thoughts of the decks in a later video. I'm not sure if I may have mentioned that earlier. I don't know. I've been recording for like an hour already. Ugh. Anyways, on to greens. Then we just have some blacks and purples, a little bit of whites, and some stragglers that we'll need to go over. But the new Argomon stuff is out, so we'll go over that real quick. Argomon Digivolves for 1 from a purple or green, level 2, play cost 3, 2k DP, or Digivolves for a level 2 Argomon for a cost of 0. Has the on-play reveal top 3 cards of your deck, and add 1 Argomon and 1 Rhythm among them to hand, return the rest to the bottom of the deck. On deletion, gain a memory. Fine card, completely fine. I think the rest of the cards are just solid. I think this deck could at least see some like Rogue contention. Level 4 Argomon. Digivolve for 3 from a level 3 purple or green, play cost 5, DP 5k, or Digivolve for a level 3 Argo for a cost of 2. When Digivolving, you have a Rhythm, you may play 1 Rhythm from your hand without paying the cost. That feels pretty mid. again, same thing with the Kyuubi. It just feels like there are definitely cards that do very similar effects, but just a lot more. And then the same inheritable as the prior Argomon. Level 5 Argomon, 8 cost play, 7k DP, 5 cost Evo from level 4 purple or green, or 4 cost Evo from a level 4 Argomon. So level 4, level 5 Evo, 5 cost Evo, or 4 cost Evo from Argo. When digivolving into this card by spending up to 5 Tamers, for each Tamer suspended by this effect, reduces the evolution cost by 1. So you're going to be a very Tamer-centered deck, which isn't bad. And then during your opponent's turn, none of your opponent's Tamers can unsuspend, which is really good, I think, as a tech card, and it's a solid floodgate against a lot of different decks. Be them, Shine if your opponent is like currently tapped out, or against things like Hunters. But the problem is, I think in the current format, there's not a lot of decks that kind of want to be continuously suspending their Tamers. I think by the time they are doing their suspending of Tamers, their Tamers are either Digimon by this point, a la Hybrid, or they're not really needing to suspend the Tamers to get the amount of value out of them that they normally would need to, a la like Mind Link decks. But on deletion, if you have 4 more Argomon in trash, you may play 1 level 6 Argomon from your hand without paying the cost. I'm not sure how easy it'll be to get 4 Argomon in trash. It doesn't seem like it'd be too difficult though. I think the hardest part is actually making use of this level 5, because by the time you go into it, you would have digivolved for I think around 2 memory. And got an A Tamer out, which will make this a 3 cost level 5 Evo, which is, I think, on theme, doesn't feel too bad. And then has the inheritable when attacking once per turn by suspending one of your Rhythm unsuspended Digimon. While that is once per turn, obviously if you have multiple Rhythm and multiple of these level 5 underneath, you can get that effect multiple times, which the way you would do that is by going into this Argomon, has the on play, and when digivolving effect, to place up to 4 level 5 or lower Argomon from your trash as Digimon's bottom Digivolution cards, then delete up to 4 levels worth of your opponent's Digimon for every 2 Argomon in this Digimon's Digivolution cards. Add 1 to the maximum total level you can choose by this effect. So, assuming everything goes naturally, the level 5 gets deleted, you'll play this out, you can delete up to 6 levels of your opponent's Digimon, and if your level 5 isn't deleted and you still have 4 in trash, you have the Egg, the Rookie, the level 4, the level 5, and then 4 more cards, being a total of 8 cards. So for every 2, so you have 4 levels, so you can add up to 8 levels worth of your opponent's Digimon, which is fine. All turns for every 2 Argomon and its sources gain 1000 DP, and then opponent's turn, none of your opponent's Digimon can unsuspend. Again, I think it's fine. It's a 13 play cost, 13k DP, though it'll be much bigger. Minimum, if you place everything underneath, it will be at least 15k DP. Play cost, not play cost, Digivolve for 5 from level 5, purple or green, or for 4 from an Argomon. It's okay. I don't think this deck really wowed me a lot, and it seems pretty lackluster. But maybe the Tamer will salvage it. I'm sorry to say the Tamer doesn't salvage it, by the way. I've read this Tamer already. 4 cost, Rhythm. As mentioned, this technically plays in with the Shine effects. I actually don't know anything about Rhythm or how she's related to Marcus in the slightest, or the Season 5 data squad at all. So forgive me for that. But your turn. When an effect suspends one of your Digimon, you may suspend this Tamer. When this Tamer becomes suspended, gain a memory. Then if you have Argomon or a yellow Digimon with Agumon or Greymon in its name, draw 1. Why is this a 4 cost Tamer? I don't understand. I feel like this would be a good effect on a level 2 Tamer, an okay effect on a level 3 on a 3 cost Tamer, and a meh effect on a 4 cost Tamer. At least make it a memory setter alongside of this like really nice bonus, and I think it'd be really good. Because right now it just feels like, wow, you have to do this for 4 turns in order to actually get the memory back. And even if we account for the fact that the memory will matter more as you're able to conserve it into the next couple turns, even with that, it still feels like you're going such a negative for a really mediocre effect. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone can prove me wrong. Let's talk about the Deuteriumon support. 3 cost play, 1k DP, level 2, 0 cost green Evo. Your turn, when an effect plays one of your Terriermon, Lotmon, or Green Tamer, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Completely fine. Completely okay. I don't think it's very good for the deck, but I think it's a completely okay effect. And should any green deck that wants to spam tamers, I think they can make use of a card like this pretty well. Has the inheritable while this one is suspended, it gets 1k DP during all turns. The new Gargomon is 6 cost play, 6k DP, level 3 for 2 cost on top of a green. On deletion, you may play 1 Terriermon from your trash without paying the cost. And then all turns when this Digimon is suspended, it gets plus 1k DP. That feels really mid, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think the Terriermon wants to be like a rush style deck that goes into a Gargo for 2, swings in, gets just deleted in security, that floats back into a Terriermon to go back into a Gargomon for 2, so that way you can pass your opponent for like 1 or 2 memory, and then force them to, if they do delete the Gargo, potentially pass turn, and you keep your Terriermon on field. It feels like a pipe dream, and it feels pretty mediocre in the current power level of the format. But, moving on. The new Intilamon, which falls into this little lineup kind of. We got 8 cost play, 8k DP, 4 for on top of a level 4 for 4 on top of green or purple. Sorry, I'll be using that from now on. Digivolve on top of a Tururi or Wendigomon for 3. Has Alliance, and then when Digivolving, you may play 1 green or yellow level 3 Digimon card from your trash without paying the cost. And then end of attack once per turn as the inheritable. By deleting one of your other suspended Digimon, you may play a level 3 card with a beast trait from your trash without paying the cost. I think this card is really good for the Tururumon deck. I think it's super solid actually, and I really like it just design-wise, as well as the art is fantastic. I love everything about this card as a whole. I don't think it's fantastic. I think it's just completely passable. But I do like it a lot, just thematically. And then we have a new Willis Tamer. New Willis, start of your main phase and on play for 4 cost. One of your Digimon gets 2k DP until the end of your opponent's turn. So you play Skybound for 4, you get plus 2k DP, and then just kind of keep doing that for the rest of the time he's on the field, which is pretty mediocre. I'm not going to lie to you. I knew that Rapid sometimes have been an issue for being a little bit too small. I know the Mega Gargo will definitely appreciate it, but I'm not sure if this is something that you're going to be wanting to play over how memory efficient your other tamers are. Your turn, when one of your Digimon with Terrier Lotmon and its name is played. By spending this tamer, one of your Digimon with Terrier Lotmon is assuming Digivolve into a Digimon card in your hand with the Digimon cost reduced by 2. That's pretty good though. I actually really do like that a lot. It lets you kind of skip straight into, once he's on field, skip straight into your Gargomon or Tururumon or any other level 4 the cost reduced by 2, and that's just saving 2 memory every single time. That feels fantastic. Maybe they will actually play this card. I think this card, that does feel really good. Maybe as like a 1 or 2 of for sure. Scrolling back up, we're now onto the Morphomon Legacy support, which is kind of huge, we've got 3 cost play, 1 cost, 1k DP, Digivolve for 0 from level 2 green. Your turn with Digimon with Digivolve into Eosmon, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1, and it has the inheritable. Your turn, once per turn, when one of your other Eosmon is played, this Digimon may Digivolve into Eosmon in your hand with the reduced cost by 3, reducing the cost by 3. That's fantastic. I think this card's insane for the deck. I don't think the deck is good still, but I think this card definitely pushes it in the right direction, absolutely. Alongside a couple new Eosmon, we've got the new level 4 one, which can play cost of 4, DP 4, no evolution cost except for specifically on top of a Morphomon for a cost of 2. When Digivolving, if it's your turn, you may play 1 white tamer with a play cost of 4 or less, or 1 level 5 or lower Eosmon from your hand by paying 2 cost. In this effect played, your opponent may play 1 tamer from their hand without paying the cost. And it has the inheritable opponent's turn. Once per turn when an opponent's Digimon attacks, you may switch the attack target to one of your Eosmon. Let me take a drink of water real quick. I think that's really good. I think it's a really good card. Again, from my understanding, Eosmon wants your opponent to play some amount of tamers anyways, so even though you're getting them a free tamer, you're still getting out your Manoas for cheap, which feels fantastic. And even if you don't want a Manoa anymore, you can at least still play out another Eosmon, which will get some more effects, which we'll see in a second. And most importantly, and this is my opinion, I think what makes this card really good, is that it's a May effect. So if you don't play, you don't have to do anything, and your opponent doesn't get any bonuses, which I think is super important. I think if it was your opponent always gets a bonus no matter if you play or not, this card would be a lot worse. The new level 5 is 6 cost play, 6k DP. Level 4 EOS for 3 for a Digivolution, and then on play with Digivolving, your opponent may play 1 Tamer card from your hand without paying the cost. And if they don't, you may play 1 White Tamer card with a play cost of 4 or less from your hand without paying the cost. Then Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon for every 2 Tamers. So essentially, you're saying, hey, you can play out a Tamer for free, but if you do, I'll Digivolve your Digimon for every 2 Tamers that are on the field. And even if you don't play out a Tamer, I will still get 1 for free. I think this card is worse by a couple margins, because again, pause. Sorry. Because again, your opponent is guaranteed to play, no matter if you get anything out of it or not, which feels bad. Let's see if the Inheritable can carry this card a little bit better, though. When an opponent Digimon attacks, you may switch the attack target to one of your EOS1. So again, another really good defensive tool for keeping your security safe and continuously redirecting. I think the problem with these current effects is that a lot of decks that are really good in the current format either have a really easy time removing stacks that aren't protected, and even sometimes those that are protected, or just can't be redirected, which feels really bad. So while I think this deck is super cool at the moment, I'm not sure it's super playable as mentioned. Moving on to the final level Digimon card of the set for EOS, we've got level 6 12 cost play, 12k DP. You can also Digivolve it for 4 on top of level 5 EOS. When Digivolving and when attacking, once returning, you may play 1 level 5 or lower EOS from your hand without paying the cost. And then all turns, when one of your EOS1 is played, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with as much or less DP as that Digimon. And then your turn, for each Tamer, all of your EOSmon gets 1000 DP. So being able to play out a level 5, and then level 5 will proc, which will then, depending on the amount of Tamers. So from my reading, from my understanding, you'll play out and then you delete. Okay, all turns. So this will trigger as a second trigger. Okay. So the ideal is you go into EOSmon. EOSmon plays out like a level 5. The level 5 then forces your opponent to play out a Tamer. If they do, great, you get another 1000 DP. If they don't, then you can play out a Manoa, which will then give you another 1000 DP and then plus some value. As well as you will Digivolve 1 for every 2 Tamers. And then you'll go ahead and delete. Assuming, let's say there's 2 Tamers, you Digivolve once. You now have 8k DP, you'll do 8k DP or less, which was pretty good. Whew. Now, going on to the new Manoa, we've got 3 costs on play by trashing 1 Morphomon or EOSmon in your hand, draw 2, which is good. All turns while you have an EOSmon, all of your opponent's Tamers on play effects don't activate, which is crazy for a lot of Tamers. It really just stops a lot of, I think, shenanigans from happening and a lot of value. Unfortunately, I don't think it stops enough in the current format. Realistically, again, hybrids don't really care. Numamon doesn't really care. Even like Magna, like you stop their Davises, the promo Davises, the 3 cost ones from playing out a Vmon, but I'm not even sure if they really care. Like I don't think it matters that much. Opponent's turn, once returned, when one of your EOSmon would be leave the battle area by an opponent's effect by deleting one of your other EOS, prevent it from leaving. That's pretty good as well. I think this is a fine card. Unfortunately, it's only opponent's turn, so you can still get like aced for your life savings. But I think this is definitely a fantastic card, especially because the deck revolved so much around finding a Manoa for so long. Whew, okay, going back to the greens now. There's just 2 more cards. So a key theme in this set is actually the 2000s movie, I think is when it was. So like the original one that was like mashed together in America, but there were separate movies outside of the West. But I only saw the Western version, so I only know them mashed together, and it was fucking sick. So let's go over those real quick. We've got the Parrotmon, 7 cost play, 7k DP. Digivolves on top of level 4 for 3. Security at the end of the battle. If you don't have a Digimon in play, play this card without paying the cost. And then on play, when Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. That's a fine effect. It's completely okay. It's got some nice tags here. Giant bird hits the bird tags. I don't think we have a giant tag yet. Honestly, I was hoping for like some kind of like Vortex Warrior stuff going on too, but it's okay. I understand it's not like a Vortex Warrior, but I think it still fits nicely into like the Zephygamon decks that we've been seeing in the future. It's a completely okay card. And then all turns inheritable. When the Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle, you may unspend the Digimon, which is I think is another fantastic effect. just a good card all around. I don't think there's a home for it yet, but it is nonetheless a really good card. And I know I mentioned that this was like a movie theme set. It's a movie for a lot of the different guys, so keep that in mind. Like the hybrids movie, the train movie for the Tamers. We've got the O2 movie with Armageddon. Like, so we'll just do the specific original very first baby movie with the baby Tai Kari, which you've already gone over, but we will add the other card in really quick, being the new Greymon, 5 cost play, 5k DP, Digivolves from red, blue, yellow, or green for 3 on top of a level 3, or Digivolve on top of an Agumon for a cost of 2. When Digivolving, if Digimon has Koromon, if Digimon's name is Koromon, it gains 3000 DP for the turn. Then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with as much or less DP as this Digimon. So you can delete an 8k or less when Digivolving. And now you may ask, how can this Digimon's name be Koromon? Well, all turns, this Digimon has all the names of the level 3 and lower cards in its sources, so it'll be Agumon, Koromon as well. And then on deletion, you may play 1 Tamer card with Tai Kamiya or Kari Kamiya in its name from your hand without paying the cost, or hatch in your breeding area, which is really good as an on deletion effect. It also has a solid inheritable, which can be made use of in the Omni Ace, because they can ignore Digivolution requirements, so you can ignore the fact that it's white. On deletion, you may play 1 Tamer card with Tai Kamiya or Kari Kamiya in its name from your hand without paying the cost, or hatch in your breeding area. So it's unfortunate that it's a OR effect, whereas this one I think is okay, it's also an OR effect. It's unfortunate that both of those are OR effects, but I understand why. It'd be very, very strong if it was just pure upside. I think this is still a really good card, and you can definitely find a home in, I think, a lot more niche decks that don't need as much of a bottom end, or don't mind a white level 4. Or even just really want to cheat out Tai and Karis, which the Omnimon deck definitely does. Scrolling back up. I think that was it for the original movie. So then we'll go back up to here. We'll finish off the green with the Parasite-mon. 9 cost play, 4k DP, Digivolve for level 5, on top of level 5 green for 3. And main effect, by paying 4, place this card as the bottom Digivolution card when you're level 5 or higher Digimon, and then you may suspend one of your opponent's Digimon and attack an opponent's Digimon with this card. With the Digimon this card was placed under. It has Alliance. It does not give that effect to the card on top of it, however, as well as has the end of attack. You may place Digimon as the bottom Digivolution card of one of your other Digimon. So this is the guy that's inside of the train, if I believe, in the Tamers movie, causing it to go crazy, loco, some would say. It is kind of like a floating. It's similar to like the Gomamon. I just don't think it's very good, is the problem. I think it's a super cool card though, and I really like cards like this that are really interesting, that can definitely see some like really fringe play, and I think are waiting for either a really ingenuitive deck builder or a new set of cards that play really well into this archetype to really see the success it's looking for. But I think it's sick and super cool. Its inheritable is when an opponent's effect would delete Digimon, you may play out from the Digivolution sources without paying the cost, and then your turn, this Digimon gets plus 3k DP. So it's just a parasite that lives inside the guy, and then should your opponent get rid of it, you can just play it right back out, which is super good because it's a 4 cost into a level 5. Your level 5 gets deleted by an effect that your opponent has. You can then play it out, and next turn immediately go into like a Quartz or something, which is super cool. A lot of utility here. Whew. Black, purple, and then some stragglers. Let's get a move on. Okay. New Agumon. 3 cost play, 1k DP, Digivolve for 0 on top of a black level 2. All turns, when one of your Kosuke Kisakata is played, gain 1 memory and draw 1. Has reboot as well. Let's go ahead and I don't think there's a Kosuke in this deck so we'll go ahead and do Kosuke. This is the Kosuke that's talking about from the prior sets. It plays into like the Doromon SOC engine. As you can see, it's also an SOC. So technically you can play it in like Fenrir and stuff, but I don't think I would recommend that. It's like a completely fine card. I don't think I would put it on anything insane. It's just a gain of memory, draw 1. Though, this also triggers whenever you play it out from underneath the stack. So technically, you can go place the Kosuke underneath the stack, play this guy out for 3, have the pass turn, end of turn, Kosuke plays himself back out, gain a memory, and draw a card off of that, making him essentially a 2 cost, and then you can kind of play with that kind of effect over and over again. I just don't think the Doromon and Dex Doromon decks play in that manner. We'll go ahead and keep on with the SOC stuff. We'll skip the rest of this black stuff for now, going into the purple. We've got the new Doromon, 1 cost Evo from level 2, black or purple, 3 cost play, 2k DP. Digivolve for top of a Dori for a cost of 0. When attacking, if Kosuke Kiskata is in the sources, and your opponent has a level 60 or higher Digimon, this Digimon may Digivolve into a Dorugoromon in hand for a Digivolution cost of 4, ignoring the Digivolution requirements. So that's really good. It's a way to kind of like promote from raising, place underneath, and immediately go back into a level 6 after your opponent just outed your board as a way to kind of contest again, which feels really good, as well as the inheritable reboot, which is fine. The new deck support here for the level 4 is a play cost of 6, DP 6k, black or purple, Evo on top of a level 3 for 3, or on top of the Rugamon for 0. And then while it's in your trash, it has the effect of all turns when one of your Dorugamon would be deleted by devolving this Digimon into this card in trash without paying the cost, prevent the deletion. Just know that counts all deletion effects as well, by the way. So it can trigger off of DP reduction, it can trigger off of battle, it can trigger off of your opponent deleting a level 4 lower or a certain amount of DP or lower. However, if you are doing it for the DP reduction, just to clarify, it is still the same Digimon, so it'll still have the same minus DP. So the reason you would do it is you would get the draw from Digivolving, which is nice, and then the card, if it still has minus 6k DP on it, it will just end up dying. But should it survive after you get the trash effect, or should you just Digivolve it from hand, you have the when Digivolving effect, trash 1 card, then draw 1 if Dorugamon is in its sources, or if Digivolving from the trash, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 4 or less instead. So you either get a draw, or you get to pop a level 4 cost or less, which is fine. It also has the inheritable reboot, which is a little sad. I hate when a lot of cards in the same line have similar inheritables. I wish that they had either uniqueness or inheritables that would stack nicely together, like DP bonus effects, but it's fine. And then moving on to the new level 5 of the deck, we've got the Dex Dorugramon, which is the exact same trash effect as the Dex Dorugamon. Play cost of 8, 8k DP, Digivolve on top of a level 4 for 4, black or purple. And then when Digivolving, trash 1, draw 1, and if it has the Dorugramon in sources, or if Digivolving from trash, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 6 or less instead. Which is interesting, because it specifies if Dorugramon is in the Digimon's Evolution Sort cards, or if Digivolving from the trash, which would imply that the Dorugramon's already in sources, but alas. It also has the inheritable end of attack. Once per turn, you may choose one of your Digimon, delete the chosen Digimon, and one of your opponent's Digimon with a level equal to or lower than your chosen Digimon, which is pretty good. And that plays really well into like the new combo the deck has available to it with the Dex Dorugramon, because typically you'd go into the Dorugoromon, and then you would swing end of attack, you delete your Dorugoromon to get this guy out, which is a play cost 13, purple black, 13k DP, Digivolves on top of a level 5 for 5, or on top of a Dorugoromon for 2. Then trash all turns when one of your Dorugoromon would be deleted by Digivolving that Digimon into this card in the trash without paying the cost, prevent that deletion. So you get a pop, I believe, while still getting your new level 6 out. And then when Digivolving, de-Digivolve 3 one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if Dorugoromon is in his sources, or if Digivolving from trash, delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. And then all turns, once per turn, when another Digimon is deleted, you may unsuspend this Digimon. So the idea would be you swing your security, you would attempt to pop it using the new Dex Dorugramon effect. You would then play this Digivolve on top of this guy, without paying the cost. You would then de-Digivolve, delete, unsuspend, after deleting something else with the inheritable effect, unspend and then swing again, which is pretty good. And then we have the new tamer that fits nicely in the deck, the Ryusenji Tomonori, which is a 3-cost tamer. Your turn, when an effect places a tamer card as one of your Digimon's evolution cards. By suspending this tamer, gain a memory. So mind linking essentially will be doing that. And then end of your opponent's turn, if a tamer is if this tamer is suspended, one of your Digimon with a tamer card and its evolution cards may digivolve into a Digimon card Dex or Death X in its name from the trash without paying the cost. So even if your opponent tries to not delete your stuff, you can still proc it using the Ryusenji as long as you keep, say, the Kisuke underneath them, which is good. It's always good to have options in utility and like inevitability, where even if your opponent tries not to interact with you, you still force them to play into your stuff, which was great. Whew, and that's the new deck stuff. I think this deck looks really sick, and I think it has a lot of potential to be really, really good. So definitely keep an eye out for that for sure. Moving back to black, we've got another movie to go into, Caramon. So we got 2 movies actually, and they segue right into each other. So we'll just continue on with the line as we get into them. Caramon, play cost 3, 1k DP. Digivolve on top of a black, level 2 for 0. Opponent's turn, when an opponent's Digimon is played or digivolves, if that Digimon is level 5 or higher, this Digimon may digivolve into Infirmon in the hand, ignoring the Digivolution requirements and without paying the cost. Yeah, that's a really good effect. I may be overvaluing this kind of effect purely because of how easy it is to get rid of a level 3, but if your opponent is playing a deck that goes into a level 5 or plays out a level 5 without actually answering the Caramon in the same stack, you will immediately get the Infirmon effect, get an Infirmon on field, which feels fantastic. It also has the inheritable. If this card has the unidentified trait, on deletion, you may play 1 Diaboromon token without paying the cost. Moving on to the Infirmon. 7 cost play, 7k DP, digivolve for a level 4 black for 3 costs. When digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, then one of their Digimon with a play cost of 8 or less can't attack players until the end of their turn. And then all turns, once per turn, when one of your other Digimon with Diaboromon and its name is played, digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. A really good card again. The amount of tokens you'll be getting is insane. And then getting this on your opponent's turn with the Caramon is also really fantastic. Going into the new Diaboromon, we've got 12 play cost, 12k DP, on top of a level 5 for 4, black specifically. When digivolving, by placing 1 clock at the end from your hand or trash as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution card, you may play 2 Diaboromon tokens without paying the cost. And then during your opponent's turn, when one of your Digimon attacks, you may switch attack target to one of your Digimon with Diaboromon in name. A really, really good card, I think, just for Diaboromon in general, but also turns on the new clock at the end stuff that is like the OTK alternate win condition, which is super fun, and I love alternate win conditions. So we'll go ahead and finish off that movie specifically with the clock at the end. Play cost 3 security, add this card to hand. Main, play 1 Diaboromon token without paying the cost. Then you may place this card as the bottom Digivolution card of one of your Diaboromon that doesn't have the clock at the end. And then start of your turn, if 4 clocks to the end are placed in your battle area, you win the game. All turns, when this Digimon would leave the battle area by an opponent's effect by deleting one of your other Diaboromon, prevent it from leaving. So it's not once per turn, so as long as you have tokens on field, you can continuously delete them to keep this guy with the clock at the end on field. And then end of your opponent's turn by place 1 clock at the end from the Digimon's Digivolution cards in the battle area. So you need to do that 4 times, which is, it's possible to do that all in the same turn. Let's say you're able to find a way to like cheat out memory, but it will cost you 12 memory total, while also having to make sure they all live until the end of your opponent's turn. I don't think it's good per se. I think the Diaboromon deck by itself is better than the clock at the end alternate win condition. However, it is an alternate win condition, which I think is sick as fuck. So I definitely want to try playing with this card as a whole, even though I don't think it's very good. Then going into the movie once again, transitioning from the season 1 movie to the O2 movie, we've got the new Armageddon. Play cost 16, DP 15, Evo from a white or black, level 6 for 7. When this card will be played from hand by returning up to 13 unidentified or Diaboromon in their text from the trash to the bottom of the deck. For each card return, reduce the play cost by 1, so you can make it up to a 3-cost play cost. It has Rush, Blocker, and Reboot, and then on play when Digivolving, delete up to 15 play cost worth of your opponent's Digimon. And then your turn, you can also attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. Just a really good removal card. It probably won't be used as a way to like kill your opponent, but it can. It has Rush, obviously, it's Blocker, it has Reboot. It'll mostly, I'm assuming, be used as a way to kind of cheat out really strong removal plays and kind of like clearing your opponent's board, especially if you're trying to go for like a Clock of the End win. Then continuing on with the same movie, we've got another new level 7 ace. This one's a tricolor ace, white, blue, green. This is another card in the X Vmon line, or the Vmon line, that has 3 colors. I think this is the second one, and they're all in the Vmon line. Talk about favoritism, but also I really like the Vmon line, so I can't complain too much. Play cost 9, 16k DP, Digivolves for 6 from a blue or green level 6. Digivolves for on top of a level 6 Imperial Dramon, and name for a cost of 5. It is also obviously a counter, so you can Digivolve on top of any blue-green Digimon for the ace effect. It has on play when Digivolving, trash all sources of your opponent's Digimon, then return all cards from your opponent's trash to the bottom of the deck. If this effect returned a white level 7 card, gain 3 memory. So you can be a 3-cost Evo or a 2-cost Evo if you're running it in like Imperial. Or even steal your opponent's turn, depending on the kind of deck that you're playing or the kind of deck that they're playing. And then it has the one attacking effect by returning one of your opponent's Digimon with no sources to the bottom of the deck. Unspend this Digimon. This card is super, super good. This card is, I'll just speak purely from my own personal experience, backbreaking with the Dark Masters list. It makes it incentivizes you to run things like Rankawagamon, it incentivizes you to run things like the Metal Seadra, it incentivizes you to run things like the Puppet. Those are all super good, and it's also a white card, so you can go on it on your turn. It bottom decks your Apocalypse and Trash already, so that way you can get that cycling back. If you're running 2 of these, as long as you have one in hand and one in trash, they will consistently place each other back, so you'll never have to worry about like decking out ever, as well as you'll always be getting back that memory cheaply, which feels fantastic as well. I think this card is so strong, and it's something you need to play around going forward. And then finally, for that set, we have a new Tamer, the Davis Motomiya and Ken Ichijoji Tamer. 5 cost, start returning with 2 or less memory, set at 3, so it's a memory setter. Then all turns when one of your level 5 or higher Digimon with a free trait would be deleted in battle. By suspending this Tamer, you may play 1 level 4 or lower Digimon card from its sources without paying the cost. So it lets you play out sources without even having partition and getting around like the battle and stuff, which is fine. And then end of your turn, one of your Digimon with the free trait may attack with the it may attack an opponent's Digimon, giving it like raid blitz, basically mandatory raid and like optional blitz, which is fine. I don't think this card's very good, unfortunately. I think that the current Imperial Mon deck really doesn't want to play a card like this, just because I think there are better ways for them to protect themselves from battle, such as the new option card. 2-cost option. Main, one of your Digimon may Digivolve into a level 5 or higher Digimon card with a free trait in its hand with the cost reduced by 4. Then you place this card in the battle area. Then all turns when this Digimon would be deleted other than by one of your effects, Digivolve it into an Imperial Dramon in name from the hand without paying the cost to prevent that deletion. As a security effect, you may play 1 Tamer with the Davis or Ken from its name from your hand without, or trash without paying the cost, then place it in the battle area. Another fantastically good card. Being able to save your Pi Ultramons from getting deleted by battle if they end up suspended is fantastic. Being able to go straight into a Dragon mode is great, or into one of your Imperial Ultramons is fantastic as well. It just feels very, very strong. Whew! We're almost there, gang. We're almost there. Just a couple more movies left. A couple more cards left. I'm feeling the pain, feeling the burn in my throat, but that's okay. We're here. Whew. Oh, we forgot the... I'm so sorry. How embarrassing. We forgot the Crimson Saber. Guilmon support. 3-cost play 1 Guilmon or Takato from your hand or trash without paying the cost. Then place this card in the battle area. Fine. Completely okay. In all turns, when an opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon is played, one of your Digimon may Digivolve into a card named with Gallantmon from your in the hand without paying the cost. Completely average. I think it's completely whatever. Security just activates main effect. It's fine. It's whatever. I really am not impressed with this card in the slightest. I think it is one of the weaker of the options that we've been given in this set. Moving on. Whew. Trailmon. 5 cost play, 4k DP, digivolves from a level 3 black for 2. On play, reveal top 3 cards, add 1 Tamer card or 1 Digimon card with machine trait among them to your hand, then trash the rest. And then your turn, as an inheritable, once Digimon has machine trait, it gains collision. Add this to the machine slop / sideboard slop pile. Pretty good, I'm not gonna lie, it is still really nice. Locomon, all turns, we'll start with the play cost actually. 7 cost play, 7k DP, 3 cost Evo from level 4 black. All turns, once per turn, when an attack target is switched, reveal the top 3 cards of the deck. Place 1 Parasite Mon or 1 black level 5 lower Digimon card from among them as Digimon's bottom Digivolution card, and then trash the rest. That feels really good because then you can, upon this guy getting deleted, Parasite Mon back out, so that way you have level 6, and it's like you went positive for level there, which is fantastic. And then all turns, when one of your opponent's Digimon, when one of your Digimon's effects adds to this Digimon's sources, you may Digivolve into a ground Locomon in the hand without paying the cost, and then it also gives collision to machines. The ground Locomon is 12 cost play, 12k DP, Digivolve for 4 on top of a black level 5, piercing. On play, when Digivolving, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, place 1 level 5 or lower black Digimon card among them as this card's bottom Digivolution source, and then trash the rest. End of attack, you may play 1 level 5 or lower card with the machine trait from his sources without paying the cost. I saw someone describe it as if you are playing a train, obviously, but you're getting on the train, and then you're getting passengers on the train, and then you're taking them off the train. It's very similar to like the fish deck in that way, and I think it's a super cool concept, and I really like it a lot. That's all. Nothing else to say there. I think it's super cool. I don't think they're good, but I think they're super cool. The new, I don't think it's inheritable, right? Yeah, no, it's not. New Chaosdramon, 12 cost play, 12k DP, Digivolves for level 4 from level 5 black, or from 3 from level 5 SOC. While you have a black Tamer, you can also place cards from your trash in Digivolution cards for this Digimon's cross. Its cross is -2 for Machine Dramon, and then for a level 5 Digimon card with Cyborg in its trait, allowing you to cross it for 8. On play, when Digivolving, by placing a card with Cyborg or SOC from your trash as a bottom Digivolution card, delete up to 7 play costs worth of your opponent's Digimon. And then all turns, when you leave the battle area by one of your opponent's effects by trashing 2 cards with Machine or Cyborg or SOC trait from the Digimon's Digivolution sources, prevent it from leaving. It kind of fits a little bit into the Machine Dramon deck. I just don't think it's very good in that deck, and I don't think the SOC deck will want to be playing it either, unfortunately. Onto purple generics. Hell yes, we're almost done. New Gabumon. Play 3, DP 1. Okay, Digivolve for 0 from level 2, green or purple. On play, by deleting one of your other Digimon, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon, and then Retaliation inheritable. Just a solid purple rookie. Darkmon, play cost of 5, 5k DP, Digivolve for 3 from yellow or purple level 3, or Digivolve for 1 on top of the Hippogriff. This is from the movie where the humanoids and the beast type spirits are fighting each other, and they find like the floating city and whatnot. It has Retaliation. When Digivolving, draw 1 and trash 1 card in your hand. Then if you have Hippogriff and this Digimon's Digivolution cards, this Digimon may Digivolve into Mermuxumon in your hand for a Digivolution cost of 2, ignoring its requirements. Retaliation inheritable. The Hippogriffmon has 7 play cost, 7k DP, 4 cost Evo from level 4, purple or yellow, or for 3 on top of the Darkmon blocker. With Digivolving, you may trash. You may play 1 level 3 purple yellow Digimon card from your hand without paying the cost. It has the blocker inherit, so you go into this, and then on top of it, the dark to go into the Mermuxumon. 12 cost play, 12k DP, Digivolve for 4 from purple or yellow level 5, or Digivolve on top of a dark with Hippogriff in its sources for a cost of 4. When Digivolving, if Dark and Hippogriff are in the Digimon's Zeus sources, by deleting one of your other Digimon, you may play 1 Ornusmon from your trash without paying the cost. And then all turns, when one of your other Digimon is deleted, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with equal or lower level as the deleted Digimon. And then playing out the Ornismon here for a play cost of 13 and DP 13. It can Digivolve for 5 on top of a purple or yellow level 5, and then on play, when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. All turns, while you have another level 6 Digimon, this Digimon gets plus 2k DP and security attack plus 1. A super cool little engine that I don't think is very good, unfortunately. It's a little unwieldy, and there's not a great bottom end to kind of go into it, as well as it doesn't have the benefit of being a hybrid set, so it can't go on top of Tamers or things like that. I think it's nonetheless really cool. Scrolling back a little bit, we've got another new purple level 4. Pippismon. It is a armor form for Pata for a cost of 2, or Digivolve for 3 on top of another blue or purple level 3. Play cost of 5, DP 5k, Armor Purge. When Digivolving, try to top bottom 2 Digivolution sources of whatever your opponent's Digimon. Then, your turn, when Digimon attacks an opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards, when Digimon attacks an opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards, delete that Digimon. So you get to swing into the Digimon that you want to delete, which is unfortunate, but nonetheless it is still fairly fine. Jeez. Jeez. Finally, on to the piece of the resistance. I think this is literally the last 2 cards of the entire set, which is as they should be. My kings. Oh, let's do the eggs first, actually. Xiaomon, your turn. Once per turn, when in effect, plays one of your opponent's Digimon from Digivolution. Plays one of your Digimon from sources. Draw 1. Good for the fish deck. BB, your turn. Once per turn, when in effect, places Tamer cards as Digimon Digivolution sources. Gain memory. Great for Pulse. Can even be used technically in like Fenrir, but it's not very good there. Argo, opponent's turn while Digimon is Argomon against blocker. Fine, completely okay. Sumeimon, on deletion, this one has the unidentified trait, gain a memory. Completely fine. And Baumon, your turn when in effect places Tamer cards as Digimon Digivolution card. In this sources, this Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card with the SOC trait from your trash. I think it's fine. It's really hard to replace the old Baumon because of how important it is for the deck, but I can definitely see it being used in like the specific Jogris deck. Now onto the piece of resistance. We will start with the Mephistomon. Play cost of 8, 7k DP, Digivolves for 4 from level 4 purple, but we don't care about that. When this card is revealed from the deck, this card is also treated as a level 6. When this card would be played from hand by returning one Apocalypse from the trash to the bottom of the deck, reduces play cost by 3. So play cost of 5 if you return your one of Apocalypse that's in trash, which is great because it recycles your Apocalypse, as well as it's treated as level 6 from searching, so all of your other level 5s on play will still add this card to hand, so it's not a dud in that sense. Has the on deletion. If deleted by an effect, you may play one Golfmon or a level 6 card with Dark Master straight from your hand or trash without paying the cost. The fact that it also plays from trash is super huge, because now if your opponent ends up outing this card to prevent you from acing with it, you can then get the on-play effect of either the Golf or one of your Dark Masters, whatever one's the most profitable in the moment. It also has a really strong one attacking inheritable. Once per turn by placing one level 5 or lower card with Dark Masters and its text from the trash as its bottom's evolution card. This one gets plus 2k DP for the turn, which is nice for like Golfmon for making it a little bit bigger so that way it doesn't die in security, or even for giving your aces a bit more oomph so they don't die in security either. It also gives them good inheritables such as Reboot, or Blocker, or Retowel, or Piercing, all of which have their own utility depending on the types of level 5 that you're playing. I think this card is fantastic for the deck. That's definitely a 1 of, if not like a 2 or 3 of for sure. The deck list is just really tight for the current playstyle that I've been testing with it, so I think a 2 of is probably the max I would ever go with it. And then finally, onto the last piece of Dark Master support for the set. Play cost of 12, 11k DP, Digivolves on top of a level 5 purple for 3 cost, which actually can come up, or Digivolve from a level 5 Dark Masters in text for a cost of 3, which is super nice that it can go on top of any of them. Has the on-play with Digivolving effect by placing one level 5 card with Dark Masters in its text from your hand or trash as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution card. Delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon, which is completely fine, good removal. I'm completely okay with it. Great for like outing like a Monzai X or something. When attacking, by returning 7 cards from your opponent's trash to the bottom of the deck, unspend this Digimon. Very rarely will you be trying to OTK with this card. However, it can happen in the sense of you get 3 memory, you Digivolve on top of, like, say, a Mephisto for 3, you swing in, you get the gun Digivolving, you place another Dark Master underneath, you get other Dark Masters underneath here. Keep attacking, you bottom deck, you swing in. You'll typically get around 2 checks with this card. If you are super late in the game, you'll get around 3 checks with this card, which can be really, really impactful, and I think it is definitely a one of maybe a Tulip, but I'm less sold on it than I am with the Mephisto one. Whew. And that's it. That's all the 102 cards you need to know for BT17, what they do and how they interact with each other. I will be making, either in a couple days, a tier list for how I think decks are going to shape up for BT17. But thank you guys so much for watching this hour and 40-minute video. Hugs and kisses.